what really resonated with me was, why do we show up every day? I think I'll think about that question for the longest time. Every morning, why do we show up? So ladies, let's move forward to our next speaker, Dr. Mavis. And she is going to talk to us about caring for your whole self. In the leadership role, we lose ourselves. How do we then love us first so that we can cascade the love? Who's Dr. Mavis? Dr. Mavis Mazura is a highly accomplished leadership coach, international behavioral science and performance specialist, and an esteemed licensee at Leadership Management International. With over 15 years of dedicated experience in consulting, facilitating, and coaching, Dr. Mavis has significantly contributed to the personal and professional development of individuals and organizations across diverse sectors and cultures. Her expertise lies in empowering leaders and teams to reach their full potential and achieve their performance goals through a variety of specialized programs and intervention. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Dr. Mavis Mazura. Now, I will shift the attention to our guest, Dr. Mavis. You are very much welcome. Relax, enjoy. We're a group of very nice ladies.
Good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Are you good? What an honor and a privilege to be amongst you this morning, a Saturday morning. And so I see that you guys woke up nice and early on a Saturday. I love to sleep in on a Saturday. It's my Saturday, it's my Sabbath, it's my day to rest. But you guys decided, oh, we needed to be here, and we're here, and I'm excited. And so thank you for having me. And so as we wait to get connected, I think we just, I'm going to talk about what my topic will be, but maybe a brief introduction. You've heard my name is Dr. Mavis Mazura. I'm an adult development and leadership psychologist. So I spend most of my days in different organizations doing all things human-related or human dynamics. And one of the things that I also spend my time doing is doing leadership for women coaching. And I think I have really loved journeying with the women as we navigate the landscape of leadership, which is for some of us new in other areas, but for some of us not so new, but also with unique challenges that we find as women as we navigate the leadership landscape. So that is what I will talk about today. How do we navigate the leadership landscape? But I think particularly on taking care of your whole self as a leader, taking care of your whole self as a leader. That is what I want to address today. But I think while we're waiting for connection, as a leader, as a female leader, what has been one thing that has challenged you the most this year? Let me start with that. What has challenged you the most as a female leader this year? Yeah. Hey? Sabotage. Sabotage. Okay. Sabotage from where? From other women. Gosh, we still at that. I really hope that we can move past that. But it keeps creeping up. It keeps coming back that I'm being sabotaged by other women. Okay. What else? What is the other challenge you faced? Stereotypes. Stereotypes. Can she really lead? Does she know what she's doing? Yeah. Being doubted and having to prove yourself that you actually can lead. Okay, what are some of the challenges you face? Yes? Arrogance. Arrogance from? Misogynist. Okay, all right. So you can't tell us what to do. We know best. If anything, you must sit down and listen. Right? Okay. What else have you faced? Yes. Gender inequality. So you're still getting paid less than your male counterparts. Is that true? Not really? Not being regarded as a leader because you're a female. So you are not a leader, you're a female. Your place is where? Where's your place? In the kitchen. How many years later we're still is in the kitchen. Okay? And how many of us are still acting like our place is the kitchen? Yeah? You go from leading back into the kitchen, you scrub and you clean and you do all things. How many of us are still acting like that? No time to rest. Hey, okay, all right. I'll talk about taking care of your whole self. I had a hand up here. What is the challenge you have faced as a female leader this year? Okay. So I'm gonna just ask these questions. I wanted us to address certain questions, and one of the questions I've already asked. So I'm gonna just continue to ask the questions. What has challenged you this year as a female leader? And how did you feel about it? How did you feel about it? How did you feel about it? The challenge you have, how did you feel about it? Bad, hurt, negative. What did you feel about it? The challenge you faced, yes. Inadequate. So you feel like you're not good enough. Now you have to continue to prove yourself. And you see, the problem with trying to prove yourself is that other people's satisfaction is a moving target. So you are never going to satisfy them. So you keep on feeling like you're not good enough. Continuously so. Okay, yes. Sorry? Frustrated. Okay, yes? Okay.
For me, it was a small challenge because I come from where they want to be.
Okay.
Therefore, a longer time than they are. Then I just wanted to see that there's a lack here. Then I want to occupy the space where then now say, let me just come with them and capacitate them about unionism.
Right.
What union is all about, and what they are your own union, which I was a leader for ages.
Right.
To say it does not encourages there's a spread in schools.
Yeah.
Once people, teachers, especially teachers, they say you come to class on time, prepared, and you teach.
Right.
And if you do that at work, when you do those things, as a teacher, young teacher,
yeah.
you live a fruitful life. You be eager to wake up in the morning and want to come up with new ideas every day.
Right. Let's give a pam-pam. That is leadership. That is leadership. Because you ideally would probably be reactive and say, you're doing these things to me? Let me show you who I am. Let me show you who the leader is. But she's saying, I then become curious. Then I start engaging them and educating them on the very things that they are ignorant to, that are driving them to behave the way they are behaving, which is actually sabotaging themselves. Right? So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Okay, what is the one habit you've developed this year that you're not so proud of? What is the one habit as a leader you've developed this year you're not so proud of? Okay, let's have one or two people. What is the one habit you've developed this year you're not super proud of? Yes?
Passive aggression.
Passive aggression. Can we just breathe on that one? Okay. Are you working on it? But thank you for putting it in the room. Thank you for putting it in the room. What habit have you developed this year that you're not super proud of? Confrontation. Right? So anything you want to confront, anything you're not going to let it go to sleep. We are not sleeping, we'll have the conversation right here, right now. Okay? Hey. All right? And yes? Sorry? Not following my management plan. Right? Not following, and I want you to relate. We talked about leadership challenge, right? We talked about how we are feeling, right? So for you to be confrontational, there must be some level of angst that's behind that. Okay? And for you to be passive aggressive, there must be a level of anger somewhere, right? Yes. So I want us to bring out the emotions. What is the emotions that are driving us on a daily basis as we lead as female leaders, right? Based on the challenges that we're facing. right? And how does that erode our own leadership effectiveness? But also, how does that also erode our well-being? Because that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about your well-being, right? So if you're being constitutional, when you sleep at night, you feel good?
No.
Do you have 8 hours of sleep?
No.
There's still a battle in the mind, isn't it? You are still talking to that person and telling them off, and telling them what you could have told them and what you should have told them again. Okay? Am I making any sense? And then you end up with 2-3 hours of sleep, and you must still wake up in the morning. And if you are like me, if I have not had my 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and I wake up in the morning, I'm already angry before I start the day. I'm already irate before I even start the day. Is this making any sense? Okay? All right. What is the other habit you've developed? What is a habit that is not useful yet? Being too lenient. Okay? So letting things slide. So avoidance. I'm not going to hold other people accountable because I fear what it might trigger. So let me let it go. So let me let it slide. But how does that affect your leadership effectiveness? We're not going to address it, but just think about it. Right? Think about it. Yes, we had a hand here.
I was just going to say that letting things slide. Because sometimes you just avoiding confrontation and
Right.
let it be.
Okay. All right. So,
Another direction.
right.
As much as that is waking you in the mind and trying to like, you're saying, okay.
So-
do your thing.
I love people that say I let it slide.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, they actually didn't let it slide. They are imploding. Right? Inside of them, they are exploding. And they said, I let it slide. What do they say? There is no peace. If you think avoidance is peace, but you are feeling not peaceful with yourself, it means there is no peace. There is no peace in avoidance. Okay, we had one hand there. Okay, what is the one habit you've developed this year that you are super proud of? One habit super proud of as a leader this year. Evasiveness. Okay, all right, evasiveness. What habit have you developed? Anybody else that you're super proud of this year? Yes?
Trying to wear nice and doing my hair and trying to look nice, because sometimes it becomes a lot. You just drag your techies in your jeans because the work is everything is. So when you try and zhuzh up yourself, it helps a lot for you to relax.
Feel good and to relax. So wearing nice, dressing nice, because we know when things are heavy, we don't take care of ourselves, right? Physically or even emotionally. Okay, yes. Strength to stand challenges and to face those who are not performing, those who are not delivering, those who are not contributing. Okay, all right, guys. I know that I can spend the whole day just having a conversation, and let me get straight into. So we want to talk about taking care of your whole self, and these questions we've asked are going to help us to sort of reflect on how did we get to where we have developed habits that are not saving us. Okay, how did we get to there? But what do we need to do as we navigate the leadership landscape as female leaders? And I do apologize for not screening what I'm sharing there. Okay, so as a female leader, or as we lead, one of the things that we know is that self is the instrument of leadership. You are the instrument of what? Self is the instrument of leadership. Okay, so you are the instrument that is going to lead your community, your school, wherever spaces that you are leading in. So self-care, when you talk about taking care of yourself, self-care determines the depth of the anger in personal leadership. Right? The way you take care of yourself determines how deeply rooted and centered you are for you to be able to navigate all the challenges that we mentioned earlier on. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, guess what? When the wind blows,
You blow away.
you blow away. You blow away. Have you ever found yourself blowing away?
Yeah.
Have you found yourself blowing away? Like you get into a conversation, and the way you engage in that conversation, the whole week you spend yourself asking, what was I saying there? What could I have said differently? What could I, you're questioning yourself. You're not feeling centered and confident in what you've put out there as a leader. Is this making any sense? Okay, so we are leading in times of change and times of anxiety. Right? We're living in times of what? Anxiety. There's a lot of anxiety in our world today. Yeah? It is a time where we hear of students having anxiety and panic attacks. It is a time where you hear your staff is having anxiety and panic attacks. It is a time where you are dealing with your own anxiety and panic attacks. Is this making any sense to anyone? Yes. Okay? So if you are experiencing that, then it means what we need to do, we need to make sure that we build the personal strength and the personal stability. As we also see that in the context, there's an increase in mental health challenges. Right? And mental health, like HIV, guys, doesn't select. Right? It's not saying, oh, people in this age group, or people in this class, right? Or these ones with over here income over this one. It's not selecting. I work in corporates, and you see CEOs equally challenged as their sweeper on the floor with mental health. Okay, so we are experiencing these things where we are experiencing well-being challenges. We're experiencing a lot of psychological threats. We are also experiencing a lot of sleep troubles. 45% of South Africans sleep based on meds. They take meds to sleep. 45%. So if it's 45%, think about 45% that are sitting here that has to take a tablet to sleep at night. Yeah? And these are the people that you still must lead. And we know that when you take sleep meds are not giving you qualitative sleep. They're just knocking you out. It's a sedative. So you wake up and you're not rested at all. So you are zombing around, basically, and surviving. Okay? And also, we're living in times, so with all these things happening, we are also experiencing what we call an empathy and trust crisis. Empathy is very, very low. Very low. We have reduced ourselves as humans to, I don't know what animals, like we can actually eat each other. Like we no longer care. I remember in a particular organization I went and they had just lost their GM and their GM actually died working. He had a heart attack. If I tell you the backstory, you will think again about how you're working. I won't be able to share the backstory for today, but I hope that what I will share will also help you to just think about how you're taking care of yourself. We are also living in an era where people are just dropping and dying. Right? No sickness, heart attack, because you've been working until you drop. True, right? Yes. Okay? You are not maintaining, you're not taking care of yourself. So the eventuality, if you keep going the way you're going, the question I always ask people when I'm talking about self-care is, if you keep going the way you're going, how far can you go?
You're so...
Right? We're also seeing the onset of dementia early on. You don't want to say the day you retire, or even before you retire, you already have dementia. Because you're not sleeping enough. Right? I always say to people, sleep for me is for free. If there's anything that is for free, other things we pay for. Sleep is for what? For free, and I sleep 7 to 8 hours. It's because it's for what?
It's free.
I'm not going to use meds. I'm not going to buy sleep. I will sleep without what? For free. 7 to 8 hours free. Am I making any sense? It's not for sale. It's for what? For free. But when you start experiencing, not enjoying free things. You're not enjoying free things, guys. Right? As a leader, right? You're not enjoying free things as a leader. How does that affect your own leadership effectiveness? If that makes sense. So very important. Empathy crisis, trust crisis. So I was talking to you about the organization where they lost their GM. I was called in to come and do an intervention, hoping that the team had grief because they lost someone dear to them. I had the shock of my life because one of the feedback, or some of the feedback I got was, oh, he died. Good riddance of being I had it this year, and I've been thinking to myself, what have we become as humans? So imagine working so hard the way you're working. One day you're gone, and the people you're leading say to you, "Good riddance of big rubbish."
Oh, Jesus.
And in the meantime, you died working.
Oh, wow.
Am I making sense, guys? You died working. You were working so hard. You neglected every other aspect of your life. You neglected your children. You neglected your husband. You neglected other hobbies and dreams you have because you were working. One of the guys, when I was engaging me, says we had a Tacity celebration. We actually celebrated. I'm like, in 2024, this is where we are. What does it tell you about our empathy? Dried. We are dry. No empathy anymore. No care. We don't care. Simply, we don't care. We no longer care. So if you no longer care, the people that you're working with no longer care. Where are we going? Right? So something to think about. So if people no longer at least care about you, at least you can do is to care more for yourself. So we are becoming too busy to set goals and plan your day. This is what we think. People are so busy. Too busy to dream. Too busy to have dreams. Right? When I go through leadership for women, I ask women, the first exercise is, please write your dreams down. And women have no dreams. I don't mean the dreams when you are sleeping and closing your eyes. I mean those ones you dream when you are awake. The imagination, the visualization. Ask people to write dreams and they can't dream anymore. Am I making any sense? You have no dreams. Your life is just basic work, home, work, home. You have no other ambitions. Some of you are saying, when I retire, it's too late. Life is now. Right? Life is what? Now. Okay? What if you don't get to a place where you retire and you're waiting for retirement? Okay? Too busy to rest. Too busy to rest. Am I making any sense? Yes. Too busy to what? To rest. When you rest, you start feeling guilt. But why are you even sitting? You're supposed to be doing something. Hello? Hello? Am I speaking to someone? Yes. Okay? Too busy to reflect as a leader. We talked about habits that have been formulated that we are not so super proud of. How do we get to a place where we formulate a habit that we're not super proud of? It means we are not reflecting, we are not seeing. We are just being formed without necessarily deciding how we want to form ourselves. Yeah? We are allowing conditions and circumstances around us to shape us and create us instead of deciding as a leader to say, this is how I want to show up as a leader. This is who I want to be. Intentional. Choosing who you want to be rather than being decided for by the circumstances and conditions you find yourself in. Is it making any sense? Yes. Okay, so it starts off, this busyness starts off as an event and then it becomes a habit. Some of you now have a habit of busyness.
Yeah.
People visit you, you are still busy. You are still busy. Like you can't sit still. You can't sit still and have a normal conversation. You can't sit still and eat a good meal. Just making sure you're paying attention to all the whatever you're. You talk about work. I was speaking to this particular group of women. She says, we get into a meeting. In the meeting we say nothing. Because we feel unsafe to say something. But after the meeting, we have another meeting, 1 hour responsibility.
Amen.
Leadership is what? It's not complaining. You can't blame and complain and take responsibility at the same time. Impossible. So when you're complaining and blaming, you're not leading. Leadership is taking action. It's a practice. It's seeing what's not working and doing something about it. Yeah? Yes. Okay? Alright? So now as we lead and we experience all these things in business, what we need to understand, I said earlier on, self is the instrument of leadership. Right? But as the self, you are not just an organ. You're not just your body. Yeah? So you do have the organ. Right? You do have the body. Yes? But you also have the mind. Right? What are the stories you tell? What are your experiences? How are they shaping your own leadership effectiveness? I remember one time I was coaching a particular leader, and when I was coaching her through the leadership for women, one of the things that the teammate said was, she is Margaret Thatcher. She had a nickname. She was nicknamed Margaret Thatcher. She was an Iron Lady. Right? She was